feels like the draft. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. Draft, draft, draft. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. Draft beat, draft beat, draft beat, draft beat. It feels like the draft, 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 draft.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Draft Beat show. I'm your host today, Franky G. With me today, no Alex Musabai. He's got the day off. He went through enough heartbreak yesterday. We needed him to go spend some time with his loved ones. Just not think about VJ Edgecombe wearing that horrific 77 jersey in Philly. So we gave him the day off. We told him, get your rest, man. We'll see you when you're ready to come back. We miss you, Moose, T's and P's. But with me in his glorious little studio here, the beam is on. Saucy takes Lou. Coach Lou, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I haven't left this dungeon since I can't even remember, to be very honest. My phone was on D&D all day. I was studying Kasparas film. Call him Cash because the jumper's kind of money. But no, I'm doing pretty good. I was able to watch 3 more games. I think that brings my total up to like 12 games of him. So I think I have a good sense of this kid. So I'm pretty excited. I'm more excited today than I was yesterday, if I'm being honest.
Even better. And not on his maiden voyage. I don't know what comes after the maiden voyage. I don't know what the second voyage is called. But his return, his glorious return, Mr. António Diaz of Eurohoops Scouting. Welcome again, my friend. Thank you again for being here. How are you today?
Thank you for the invitation again. I'm good. How are you guys? How's everything? Excited about the pick. Was right about my range. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I honestly, Antonio is one of the few people who understands what we went through. We shared a pain today. Antonio and I, coincidentally, we did not even discuss this before the show, but we both went through every single one of Kasparas Jakucionis' 123 turnovers that he committed this season. I watched every single play, and I was like, "Oh, Antonio, man, I did this." He goes, "I did it too." So I'm like, "Okay, somebody else went through this struggle with me." It's so I was telling my girlfriend, it's so hard to feel good about a guy after you watch him make 123 mistakes.
That's not a good way to tell yourself.
Yeah, if you don't get discouraged after that, like that's a good thing.
Like I was talking to Lou, and I was like, Nico in 3 seasons has less turnovers in the NBA than Kasparas in 33 games this season. That's just a crazy stat that I just randomly found. But I still am very encouraged by the pick. I'm watching more games. I told you guys I didn't watch a lot of him just because I didn't expect him to be here. And I tried to, like, any of the guys who are like out of our range, I try not to break my heart and watch those guys. I need to do a better job committing myself. But this is why I'm hosting today. Lou did the homework. Antonio is the expert. So we're going to get right into it. Lou, first off, you slept on it. You've watched some more film. You said you feel better about the grade. Tell us your thoughts here.
Yeah, I feel better. I feel better about the selection just because it's different watching a guy at face value and then thinking, what can he bring to a team? And it's very clear that where some of Kasparas' strengths lie is in areas that the Heat are most dire for them. Playmaking, extra ball handler, somebody who puts pressure on the rim to a certain degree, somebody who can operate and pick and roll. He does some of these things really, really well. Obviously, he has some limitations. Like, there's a reason he dropped to 20th, but all in all, I left a lot higher on him with the fit with Miami.
Okay.
I think he is going to. I think first of all, I think he's going to demand minutes right away. If I'm being honest, just his ability to control tempo, how much was put on his plate, literally in every single game I watched from Illinois, like it's crazy. He was on ball almost like legitimately all the time. That's not to say he can't play off ball, but that's where his strengths lie. Measured in, shout out Cali Drafts on Twitter. They have one of the best, like top scientific like spreadsheets where it comps players' physical scores and stuff. And he tested as a really, really good physical profile for a point guard. I think it was like 85 was the grade around there. And if we comp that to his shooting guard grade, the average is 50, by the way, guys. It was like 48 or 52. It was basically average. Like he's an average size shooting guard, but he's a really physically imposing point guard. So that coupled with some of the game film I was able to watch, he should be, if everything hits, I do like his trajectory of being a point guard in the NBA. In terms of like him hitting his full ceiling upside, like, you know, it definitely has to be at that position. So I was very intrigued. I was very pleased. Offensively, I'm not going to touch on the defense yet, but just in general, like he ran so many actions, guys. Like I know Antonio was going to talk about it too, but the Illinois offense, the way that they like to run high pick and rolls, they run a lot of double drag, a lot of Spain. They run him off a pin down to like a dribble handoff. I'm watching his touches come in the same way that he operate their offense. So that's making me feel better about him being an instant contributor. A lot of the stuff they're running for him is stuff that the Heat run for Tyler Hero, if I'm being very honest. So I do think he's gonna hit the ground running in terms of picking up the system, if that makes sense. And that's goal number one to get on the floor with Eric Spoelstra, is be smart enough to understand what you're doing in both coverages.
Yeah, 100%. And before I go to Antonio, I do have to say I am also keeping tabs of the second round as it is currently airing if you're listening to the pod. So first off, Minnesota Timberwolves, the second round pick, the first pick of the second round, to the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns are taking Rasheer Fleming, guy we talked about, we liked, slipped to
Great pick.
Good pick for them. Boston just traded the second pick. Orlando, we're waiting for their selection. Antonio, so I like the value. A lot of mocks had him in lottery, like a lock for the lottery, and me and Lou like briefly discussed in private that this was a guy potentially could slip. We're still very surprised. I'm so very pleased. Like I think even sleeping through it, even watching all his mistakes, I see the ideas, I see the productivity, I see the I don't think he was overmatched. I think it was more of an adjustment. New coach, new system, new country. Literally, he's just turned 19 last month. Tell me how you felt now with another. Real quick. Noah Penda just got selected to the Orlando Magic with the second pick of the second round. And so, Antonio, tell me how you feel with the night of rest, reflection about the pick.
Yeah, at the time I liked it. I didn't love it just because Jace was there and I would prefer Jace. I think a lot of guys were of the same opinion. Mm-hmm. After watching some more, I can see why. There are some stuff that I still don't love about Kasparas. Main one is the rim pressure. Is really a really good finisher at the rim. He's efficient. Adam Simon talked about that. Our problem is the volume. He didn't get to the rim much less with drives. He went for drives, or he went with cuts off the ball as well. So he can provide that as well. He's not just an on-ball player. He can also play off the ball and cut to the rim. But for a Heat team that doesn't put too much pressure on the rim, I would like for Kasparas to become more of a rim attacker. He was more of that in Barcelona. It's a different type of basketball as well. He didn't faces many athletic defenders. The teams that he faced weren't as good as some of the teams in college, because he barely played for the Barcelona main team. He basically played for the under 18s, and then some games in a lower league in Spain. But he's interesting. He's a really good playmaker. He's not like someone that's gonna make an advanced read out of every possession. He's calm. He's collected. He can find the easy pass. He can go for some more difficult passes, and we'll get there as well. The shot is workable for sure. It's one of those skills that can be developable. He can become much better at that. And then the defense, he's not like a world-class defender or anything like that, but he can bring some defense to the backcourt, and that's always good, because the defense from Miami last year wasn't that good, and they still finished with a top 10 one. So he can bring something.
That's the magic of Eric Spoelstra and Bam Adebayo, to be honest. But yeah, I from what I've seen, like I don't like. I'm going to be honest with the audience. Of course, I have seen very little of him. That's why I'm leaning on you guys today. But what I have seen of him, the form is not broken. I know he shot 31.5%, I believe, this season. 31.8, excuse me, from three this season. A lot of step backs, a lot of difficulties on those shots. But I don't think the form is broken. I don't think it's anything like that. He has a very good shot, likes to go to the step back left a lot. The free throw shot is great, 84.5. Very encouraged that he was getting to the rims 5 times a game. Getting to the free throw line, 5 times a game. That's great sign for a guy like with all his struggles and stuff. That the fact that he was able to get to the line that much at his age, at his inexperience in college as a true freshman, just turned 19 last month, like I said. So like he's one of the younger prospects. I came off very encouraged. So Antonio, I just do want to talk about you a little bit, just because I know the audience met you briefly last time as one of our 2 guests in the final mock draft. But you are a Heat fan, I believe, because you we do talk about the Heat a lot. So I assume you're a Heat fan. But you work for Eurohoops. You're a scout. Just please give us a quick rundown of like what's your background in scouting and what you do for work, for scouting.
Yeah, so I am from Portugal, so not a country known for basketball, but I work for Eurohoops Scouting, which is a service. It's a subscription service for colleges in the US. So we help get European guys to colleges in the US. And I also work with Mexico City Capitanes of the G League. I just finished my first year there. So yeah, I have experience watching guys in Europe mainly. I've watched especially this generation of guys are.
Chat says share your credentials so we know if you're legit. No, go ahead.
I don't have any credentials. You're just gonna have to take my word for it.
No, if you follow, I followed Antonio. We followed each other for a few years now. I can vouch for him, and I wouldn't bring him on if I didn't think he had knowledge. He's a Nico fan, so he's a real hoop knower here. No, but continue, please. Like your knowledge is very much appreciated here.
Yeah, this generation is probably the one I've followed for the most in the last few years. I've been working with Eurohoops for like 3-4 years, and these guys came up in the under 16 at about that time. So that's the guys I've been following for the most time, like Jakucionis, Traore, Hugo Gonzalez, Igor Demin. Those guys are the ones I've been following the most. So I have some knowledge of it. I've watched them live, so I can also like Jakucionis looks a lot bigger than he looked in Barcelona, for example. He looked to have developed his physical
His body.
quite a bit in the for sure.
Awesome. And real quick,
good to know.
Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba.
it's have selected Sion James out of Duke with the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. I do. So I did want to ask you, because you said you've been watching Jakucionis and following along since he's was in the under 16, I believe, in Europe. Where have you seen him grow in the most? What was a weakness for his level, and has developed into at least a neutral or a strength?
First one has to be efficiency. Of course, like a 16-year-old player is not going to shoot the same as a
Of course.
18-year-old, 19-year-old. But the way he gets his shots, like he was like just a skinny kid from Lithuania when he was the 16, like running around the court and doing everything. And then when he was at the under 18s, he was more calm, a lot better in the pick and roll, like getting defenders on his hip to avoid them from coming back to him. That is mainly the big change from him. He's always been a good playmaker, a really high IQ guy. And the defense at Illinois, I think the on-ball defense has gotten better. The off-ball defense has always been there, like reading passing lanes and being there. The on-ball defense, you can see like he's fighting for his position on pick and rolls. He's trying to go through it, and that's something you didn't see in Europe, where he would just get caught in the screen and let his man go.
I absolutely. That's good to hear. That I like to hear the growth of the kids. And obviously we don't have as much knowledge as you, so like knowing that he's developed these weaknesses into strengths, or at least neutral for the level and the experience, it's really crucial and important, because you want that to continue. You want him to address these weaknesses, and especially because in the league, if we know if you have a weakness, teams will poke at it. Lou, I do want to pass the ball to you, if you have any questions for Antonio, so we can keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My biggest question is, you said Franky kind of said in terms of strengths that he neutralized. Is there something that he was already good at in the under 16s that has either not maintained, up to standard of being good? Like, if he was really good at doing this, now he's just okay because the competition has been a little bit too much. He hasn't fully adjusted.
Great question.
Or vice versa. Is there a strength that, like, okay, he was decent, he was pretty good at this, and now it's like, okay, this is elite. Like, this is, this is something that is NBA ready in the sense.
Yeah, so from Europe to the US, you can see again a bit more difficulties getting to the rim, just because the defenders are different. It takes a lot of time to adjust. At the under 18s, he's probably playing in a season where 4, 5, 6 of his games are close games, and the other ones are a blowout. So it's not a big like a high level of competition here. So when he gets there and every night he plays, he's got a competition, he's got eyes on him, he's got the other team scouting for him. That takes some time to adjust. You could see some stuff that he was capable of doing. For example, he can drive right or left, it doesn't matter, and he was capable of doing that in Europe. He's capable of doing that in the US as well. So he hasn't lost that. I don't know how much he can deal with the physicality of the US and the NBA teams inside, and that's something that put him a bit in the downside for me. Yeah. But I still find that he can do something I would like to see more volume in his attacks. And then on a positive note, like his shot looks quicker, looks more fluid. It didn't translate to efficiency, but it's better than it was in Europe. Sometimes it was all over the place. It would kick a leg, or the arm will go everywhere. So there's a bit more fluidity to his shot and more balance on what he's doing.
I like it, and you mentioned his dexterity. I noticed he goes left a lot. He likes the going left for the step back three. He likes driving and passing with the left. I wonder, is that something he's always kind of done, or is that something he's kind of adjusted in the U.S.?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I just noticed how like he's a right-handed player, but he goes left a lot. And I've noticed he likes the left step back to the left, makes a lot of left-handed passes. I believe Synergy had it at like 72% of his drives were going left. Is that something that you in your experience with watching him he's always done, or is that something new he's adjusted to as he gotten older?
Yeah, I got you. The main thing is he has like a quick crossover that he goes to, like he fakes going right and quickly goes to the left, and then from there he quickly tries to go to the basket, because he's not like a bursty player. He doesn't explode from his defender. So any bit of space that he can gain, he does. So he's much more adept of going the right to left on his crossover. So he's going left when he drives.
Yeah. Got you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna, accentuate to your point. When I was really watching the games today and I was kind of tracking, where he likes to operate to your, his right to left crossover to, reject the screen is that's where the bread and butter is in terms of his drives. I felt like he just doesn't have full confidence in his left-hand dribble at the moment. Like you can see him sometimes when he does get into a little bit of traffic, that's where the turnovers come, when he is going left and a guy is digging from the corner or digging, and shout out G at the nail. And but when he prefers to go right only off of like double staggers or a hezzy, it's not really, he doesn't start left and then goes right. It's he goes right and then gets some kind of advantage set for him, whether that's a screen or a double drag or a DHO off a pin down, and he's able to flow into that direction. So I really noticed that today. And what I did want to ask though, Antonio, was
wait, before you ask the question, Ryan Cockburner, number 4 pick to Hornets.
So they got Sion James, and Cockburner and Con. They're saying we are trying not to miss. We are trying to get the safest guys. I respect them. But yeah, Antonio, just to poke at something you had said earlier, because again, this stood out to me, like watching him today. You said that he was typically more known for his off-ball defense, like getting into passing lanes. That's something that I was pleasantly surprised with. Just the physicality, he does go through screens now. For being a bigger point guard, I think he's done a very good job of getting skinny, attaching to the hip, fighting over at Illinois. I thought that was very relevant. But where do you feel comfortable in terms of him guarding at the next level? Do you feel comfortable him being point of attack, at least serviceable there? Or do you think he can eventually get to, because let's be honest, if he's going to play alongside Tyler Hero and they're going to run Davion, that's not a lot of size on the floor. So my question is, it's basically focused to the team this year, but do you think defensively he can survive in the NBA guarding point of attack for, let's say, 12 minutes a game for a quarter out of the whole game? Or do you think he's still that's probably not gonna work?
He can guard some point of attack. Like the best guards in the NBA are still gonna pick him because they're that good.
Yeah.
But I think the his best trait, and that's why I have him like in my in the role in the defensive role I see for him. It's more like a switch guard, something like Kyle Lowry was used to doing,
Mhm.
just like defending the pick, and if he couldn't get around it, just go inside battle with the big, switch to the wing and stay in front, be physical with them. He can do that, and there's some clips of him that I've seen, where he's fighting with the big. Like if the ball gets inside, he has a mismatch, of course. But he can fight with the big and come away with a deflection or a steal of that. So he can hang around in the perimeter. Like you won't be seeing like was the guy from Cleveland like picking Tyler apart.
Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome.
Yeah, Ty Jerome. Yeah, you won't see Ty Jerome getting to him and then getting 30 points a game on him. Especially if they go to the pick and roll. He's really good at on the pick and roll.
Mhm.
I worry about his movement in isolation opportunities, just because his feet are a bit glued to the floor. His hip are not is not that flexible. But everything else, I'm pretty confident in him. Defensively, he's not going to be a great defender. He's never going to be that. But if he can be average, a solid defender, I'm good with him.
Yeah, I watched some of his defensive tape, and I do notice that he's a little bit more flat-footed than you would like. But he competes on that end,
Yes.
and he takes pride on that end. Well, one of the guys the Heat were linked to, Walter Clayton, who we talked about. I was super discouraged by how ready his team was to cover for him, and at least in Illinois, I didn't feel the same way for him, for KJ. But real quick, with the 5th pick in the second round, Philadelphia selects Johnny Broome from Auburn. But that's something that I was really encouraged by. That he takes pride in it. He competes. He goes for swipes, and he tries on that end. That's all I can ask for. If you're not good but you're trying, I'll take it. And he's big, so like you said, he doesn't have a negative wingspan. I think it was 6'7.5". He measured 6'4" and 3/4 without shoes, 6'7 3/4 wingspan, 8'3.5" standing reach, if I remember correctly. That's a good size for a point guard. If he can do what, like you said, just guard some wings, compete on that end, doesn't get post up and taking advantage of it, that's playable. That's playable on that end. And we got to remember that we're doing this mainly for the audience, for you guys, so you guys could also like temper expectations, because I've heard some gaudy comparisons. And first and foremost, let's address the big elephant in the room.
Ooh.
Goran Dragic does not play anything like him. Okay. Goran, very safe passer, was very risk adverse up until the last like 2 seasons, when he finally was pretty confident in Bam and throwing lobs and throwing those tight windows. He liked the mid range, didn't have an issue getting to the rim, a lot faster. Is there a particular guard that you do compare him to, Antonio? That's not. It doesn't have to be European.
Yeah, you kind of caught me off guard here, because
I'll pass it to Lou.
I can think of anyone right now. You got me Lou off guard as well.
Hey, I know why Franky's asking me this question, because we were off air, and I was like, it's so difficult because like, I don't like the Goran comparison, but it's so difficult to come up with a comparison for him, just because the way he was utilized, I don't think is going to be the way he's going to be fully utilized in the league. He's going to do similar things, but I think that amount of responsibility to be given on ball is kind of questionable. Real quick, while Franky's bringing up a play here, he's up against Duke in this play. Don't look at the score. It was not his fault. I promise. I watched the entire game. But on this play, he's on Khan, and this is just to reference back the defense. Does a good job sticking with him through the screen, contains the drive, fights over, and gets a hand on the ball. Like, the dude competes
She's
down
awesome.
24. Yeah, that clip stuck out to me. I had to Google how to screen record on a Mac. I apologize if the quality wasn't good.
My bad.
But,
I saw your message now, and I thought it was about this.
No, you're good. You're good. It was to reference back. But I mean, just like going back into
Love
the
it.
player comp,
Love it.
Yeah, I
Zoran.
thought Lou was going to
Love
say
it.
Zoran was the comp as a joke.
Zoran,
In some Bino Udry as well.
Yeah, of course. Every
All the
lefty point
Slovenians.
guard they've ever had.
Yeah.
it's so hard because he's so on ball. I think like offensively, in terms of him being on ball, he kind of plays like, how old is James Harden right now? 35. He plays like a 37-and-a-half-year-old James Harden. Like, it's so difficult, guys, to be realistic with a comparison. It's, he's not James, but in terms of they feel more comfortable operating out of screens, especially towards the age that I'm setting for Mr. Harden here. Both like going to their step backs. They have a preferred side that they like to attack. Bigger bodyguards, especially at the one. Not the best defender, but smart enough. And it's like the best I can do, and I feel horrible about it. So like, it's so hard to actually come up with a legitimate comparison here. But it's kind of frustrating. And hit the cue because one of my guys just went off the board.
I was gonna say, with the number 6 pick in the second round, going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Adu Theoro, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly, from Arkansas. I love this guy. That's a great fucking pick for them. But yeah, Lou, like I've seen some other comparisons where it's like young Halliburton. I think the Halliburton comparisons, I think that's really unfair to Kasparas because Halliburton is the hot commodity right now. I love Halliburton, but Halliburton also really takes care of the ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And Kasparas, if he idolizes him and learns from him, that'd be great. Because I told you, I said earlier, I watched all the turnovers. I think a lot of it comes from, Antonio said, there was an adjustment period to playing with different length, different size. The more I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Antonio, but I feel like some of the colleges are a little bit more aggressive here. Defensively, they're a little bit more cheating for steals. And trying to play make on the defense side. So like there was a lot of plays where he's trying to throw it to a teammate and he's not anticipating they're going for the steal. They're jumping the gap every time they're reaching over, and he's not passing over length well enough. A lot of miscommunication with teammates, but that was a whole brand new Illinois team. I think they only had one returning player from the previous squad. And they did have a pretty good season. And like we keep going back to, he's very young. He's just turned 19. So we do have to give him some grace. It's not easy playing point guard. But I think he did a really good job. The turnovers are a big concerning for me. And knowing how Spo values the possession game, a freshman who was 5th in the country in turnovers overall, I do worry about that. I think he has to clean it up. I don't think it's anything concerning where it's like he's overmatched from all the turnovers. I think it was mostly, just miscommunications, trying to do a little bit too much, see the pass, and the window closes a lot faster than is. So I do think it's going to take him some time. But you also see a lot of the successes, and I do want to go to some of these clips that you provided here. So you can see here, you could talk about it, Antonio, if you'd like. You see the anticipation on that touch pass. And if anyone knows me, I love the touch pass. I love being ready to make a decision right when you get the ball.
This is a great pass here.
Yeah, so these are basically like teammates' faults, not his.
Yep.
So you can see right here, the space is inside. Okay, so
roll.
his teammate, yeah, and his teammate goes like that. That's not his fault. That's not a turnover.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the previous
So-
one, the teammate didn't fill to the corner either. I literally watched that game today. So like, the Washington, sorry, the Michigan.
This one, yeah, this one is maybe the one where his teammate is not as culpable as the other ones. He still is because he has to hold this position, but like the pass has to be so quick while he's in the air. This one is just like you're taught to just go to the corner. This one you just have all the space inside. He's seeing that, he gets the ball to a great place, and the read isn't there. So some of these turnovers are a problem, but I think people are overvaluing turnovers. I don't like, especially when I'm watching like under 16s, under 18s. I don't like when I go to a guard's page or profile and I see a low number of turnovers. It tells me like he's not taking risks. He's not trying stuff. It's just
Not pushing
playing
the
with the motion.
he could do.
Exactly. And then he's going to get to the pro level, and he's gonna be just a guy that passes to his side. And he's not going to try things. And you have to, because you're a guard, you're gonna have the ball in your hands. You're gonna have to create. The Heat really need someone to create, and for that you're gonna have to turn the ball over as well.
You're gonna take some chances. Absolutely. We talked about this was something we've
Fantastic.
and many post games this season where it was like, yeah, they only had 4 turnovers, but they weren't really making good plays. They weren't trying to get the ball to spots, and that's what I'm encouraged by. Like, just even like, I really hope Simon's vision works with Spo, because I feel like Spo has some reluctancy to take some. He's more risk adverse on the offensive end, in my opinion. From watching him for 17 years, whatever it's been, he's always been risk averse. That's why the offense is always so slow paced, because he doesn't want to turn the ball over. That's why in the fourth quarters they stagnate, because they limit the movement, because they want to get shots off. And they rather get a shot off than turn the ball over. So they stop the movement, they stop the plays, they keep it simple. And if you don't have the talent, it's hard to keep it that simple with defenses in the NBA. But this is a kid that, like, I do want to temper expectations, because there is going to be some growing pains.
100%.
Yeah.
And
100%.
like, if you want to take the chances, like, from what you saw, what stands out as like some potential growing pains that you see will probably take some growing up to before he's ready to be a starter.
Yeah, so I think he's very crafty, but sometimes I think he's too confident in which isn't a bad thing, but like he really tries to force things that aren't there. And I'm not even talking about passes, because to Antonio's point, if you're not trying to make some of these passes, then you're just a guy, and just a guy isn't a point guard. And if you're his size, being a point guard is a lot better for your future than being a shooting guard, realistically. So, but it's more trying to fit into crevices when the defense is set and there's not really space there, because you have 2 guys on that side. So like you're trying to attack towards the left side of the floor, and you have a guy at the wing and in the corner. So you don't really have too much space to operate. Getting turnovers like that, trying to push and transition sometimes when it's a little bit, when the defense is set and it's like a 2-on-4 situation or something. And he's just trying to get downhill. What I do like about the turnovers is that it's literally him trying to get downhill. So to Antonio's point, like, he didn't really do much of that, like of finalizing getting downhill. But when he got there, he finished well, because, he just really has a good pace about him. Another growing pain. I didn't see him throw a single lob in any of the games I watched.
I saw one lob, one turnover on a lob.
He wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it was a fast break. He really overshot it.
So
he was looking for Kalel there.
Yeah.
Concerning.
It looked like, honestly, it looked like he was looking for DJJ on Kalal's shoulders. He missed so bad. But
Damn.
real quick before I get it back, the 8th selection of the second round, Indiana trades up to get Cam Jones out of Marquette, DraftBeat fave of mine. Your TJ McConnell.
Gonna get minutes, maybe.
He might. Oh, actually, yeah, he might get minutes. Fuck.
Yeah.
Especially with no Hallie. Yep, for sure.
Hallie.
Yeah.
But
to the lobs point, you can see more lobs with Barcelona because with Illinois it was playing with a stretch big in Ivicic.
Yep.
With Barcelona we was playing with like 7 footers in Dabone, Keita, and they were guys that they're just like.
How were the lobs there, Antonio, if I may ask?
Much better. Not perfect, but much better.
Okay. Because
D Wade.
yeah, no, D Wade's the best lob thrower probably in the history of the league, if we're being honest. Yeah. But no, the reason I ask is because with how much action he runs in pick and roll and how much he does like to turn the corner in these, a lot of the times when it was 2-on-1 against the center, he had a rep against Duke, against Maluak, where like the lob was probably there, but Ivicic is not. If anybody has seen Illinois, super skilled big, cannot jump over a credit card. The poor guy, unfortunately, that's where they decided to nerf him right there. But he ended up basically keeping the defender in jail. I think it might have been Proctor, it might have been Sion James. I can't remember. But Maluak came up, he fakes for the floater, he gets him to jump, and then he has to drop it off to him. When in the league, like the angle that Ivicic was on, if he can just throw that up, Kalal's bringing it down, Bam's bringing it down. So it's, can he adjust to making these passes? Because these passes are going to be there at the next level. And his vision is good enough to see them. I just want to feel comfortable enough, or how comfortable is he going to be, and how fast enough is he going to get to that comfortability of making those passes and willing to take those? And please, dear Spoelstra, do not bench this man for that.
But these were some of the windows, the tight windows that like he's being aggressive here. The hedge and recover, he's seeing this pass, and the window closes a little bit faster than he's expecting.
Yeah, in Spain he could do these passes because the length wasn't there, so he was able to get these passes to go in.
The vision to see that is what excites you about this kid.
Yeah, I will say, in terms of, he really has just a natural ability to drive and find the empty corner or find the weak side corner. That is something that the Heat have been missing from their guard since Goran. Like, Goran used to love to drive and kick to the weak side corner. Even fucking Dion Waiters, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Dion Waiters was awesome at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just as better. But no, realistically, it's there is some promise there. I'd be interested to see how much he plays off the ball and what his role looks like there, because I do think separating, when he gains the ball in an advantageous position, he typically maintains or accentuates that advantage.
And now that you talk about it, aside from the passing, which is a bit different, is not that different from Waiters in the Heat in terms of the way he gets. I know people won't love this, but like,
let's go.
Getting to the paint and trying to find a teammate, getting to that step back where he can feel comfortable. Like, that's something that Waiters did. I know people like, why would we draft Waiters? But like, Jakucionis is a better passer than Waiters, so he can get to another level as well. And Waiters was pretty good.
He's bigger too, and I think he's a better defender than Waiters, if I'm being honest.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
So
real quick. With the 9th pick in the second round, Toronto Raptors select Elijah Martin out of Florida.
There you go.
Yeah, I think
Clayton's teammate.
I think one of the common things I also saw with some of the bad passes he made was just not being able to, not reading the help defense well enough, the second and the third levels well enough. And I think that's something that's might take time. There is some things where he needs to work on, where he shows the ball a little bit too much, gets it poked away on drives, and trying to drive through arms, and it gets stripped. That's something that he needs to work on. There was I checked to see. I like to look at the game logs, and I just like to look at like how many games he had under this many turnovers. I want to see a point guard who has, like, if you can have a zero turnover game. He had 1 0 turnover game. That was a game he played 9 minutes because he was in foul trouble. So, but every other game, like, he had a lot of games. He had 16 games with 4+ turnovers. So that's alarming. He finished his last 4 games in tournament play, conference and the NCAA tournament, with 6 turnovers each game. I don't think he's going to have the ball right away as much as he does in college, obviously. I do want to ask you guys. I believe so. I believe so, but I want your opinion. Lou, I'm going to go to you first. Do you think this is likely a guy that does see some G League time?
No.
Okay.
The reason I will say no is Khalil Ware was somebody I thought was going to get G League time, and I think he played 2 games in the G League.
That's still G League time.
Okay. He's a lot more ready than Khalil Ware was.
Okay.
And Nico was. So I think I do think he's going to stay with the team. The team also really needs some semblance of hope at the point guard position. So I do think that they are going to try him out eventually over Terry Rozier, maybe hopefully. As quickly as, hopefully fucking to start the season. But that's a different situation. Because I do think he's going to have lumps, but the Heat need to be realistic is my thing. And I'd rather him get actual NBA reps. If he's going to be on the bench getting DNPs, please send him down, because he needs the reps at point guard. They did it with Gabe Vincent. Like, Gabe came into the Heat being a shooting guard in college. His whole, like, basically his whole career, he was a scorer, and then he had to adjust to be a point guard. They tried to do that with Kendrick Nunn. They try to do this with guys. The thing that is different about Kasparas and these guys is he can already see some of these passes that those guys couldn't. I do think, to Antonio's point about him struggling with some of the length and stuff in the NBA, I think the reason for that is because he has not yet developed as a point guard his ability to control defenders with his eyes. That is something that needs to be better. Not every point guard has this, but like watching film of him, watching film of Saraf, he controls people with his eyes. Traore is probably the best one controlling people with his eyes. Like fucking Cooper Flag, which is insane, is how much he does that. But anyways, like being able to create advantages and open up these windows for yourself to lower your turnovers. If he can perfect this, I'm super excited to see him in the G League, because I'm pretty sure they are going to be like, Kasparas, the ball is yours. You are going to play point guard this whole game. And I cannot wait for that to be the case. And they're probably going to give him some minutes with Isaiah Stevens, which is going to be nice. But I don't think he's going to be G League. Sorry, that was a big way for me to say I don't think he'll be in the G League, Franky.
I think, but I feel like you're also saying you hope, like you're more saying you hope they don't see him in the G League. I hope so too. I don't want to see him in the G League, but if the Heat are realistic, I would love to just let him fucking play 25 minutes a game at least, and make mistakes and learn and live with it. I think you're realistically in a lost season and you're not really realistically competing. So go for it and see what you got. But Antonio, I'll let you answer, and then you send me a clip here so we can get to it, and it'll be the last thing, and we'll get out of here. So Antonio, what do you think? Do you think he's a guy destined to spend even a little bit of time in the G League?
Just if he isn't playing, like if the minutes are for Davion and
Rozier.
And not Rozier. I was thinking Drew Smith. Yeah, not Terry Rozier. No. If he isn't playing, I agree with Lou. He has to play somewhere because he needs the reps as a point guard, because he went from playing in like an under 18 team where like 80% of his games are blowouts, so the competition isn't great, to go into the NCAA where the competition picks up a bit, but still it's not the NBA, and then the NBA is a whole different level. So he needs those reps. He needs to fail. He needs Spo to let him fail as well.
Yeah,
because he's gonna commit to turnover. He's not gonna go from 123 turnovers to getting one a game. Like, it's not gonna happen. He's gonna commit turnovers. There are turnovers you want him to commit. There are others that you want to
limit,
to go around it. Yeah, to limit. So, but that's something that a team that knows where they are can take the best of him.
Yeah, and oftentimes you see a lot of these point guards who are really good and become really good. Their rookie years, they struggle with the turnovers, and that's okay. Oftentimes, like let them grow, let them develop, let them see windows, see what works, what doesn't work. Real quick, somebody in the chat asked if we want Wiggins on the roster next season or we prefer to dump his contract. Me and Lou prefer to get assets and add to stock it up. There was a rumor from a Lakers reporter, Anthony Irwin, that they're in talks about potentially trading Wiggins to the Lakers. Heat are trying to get a first round pick. That would be very great. I hope they do. But I think what we're all in agreement with, he needs reps. He needs reps. I think of it off at point guard like a quarterback. Your best value on the rookie contract is to use up those reps, see what you got, and see what needs to be worked on. And also, you have to see how to fit the roster around him. You have to see how he fits with Bam, how he fits with Tyler, how he fits with Ware, what works, what doesn't work, what you're lacking to make up with it as a roster, as a skill set, as a coaching staff. And I do want to bring up this last clip here, Antonio, and then Lou has a question for you as well. This is a clip you sent me from his younger days in FC Barcelona.
Yeah, you can. If you want, you can just advance for the later part of the video because it's part of the lobs and stuff like that. If not, you can just catch some of his scoring. Yeah.
Oh, what a pass!
Right. He's playing with. You can see more of his passing just because he's playing with bigs that go to the rim, so you can find them. You can even see. I think there's one or other that are just lobs from the top of the perimeter.
Yeah, you see, if you're watching on, if you're listening to the pod, you should definitely check this out on Antonio Diaz's page here. It's Antonio Diaz, Diaz with a S at the end, _P as in Peter, T as in Tom. On Twitter, he did a fantastic thread of Kasparas' strengths and weaknesses with clips as well. And he shared one here today. Just seeing him, his younger days. This is also him going against overtime elite. So some,
this is the finals prospects. This is the AMGT finals. So Real Madrid with Hugo Gonzalez and Damin, INSEP with Traore. There's the overtime elite as well. So
that's great.
Some good quality competition.
He also looks really fast. There was also somebody said that he played like half this season injured. So there are some people who are giving him some grace. I did look at his the game logs and splits, but I also think like it's hard to judge because a lot of the early season was against like really poor opponents. So like he cooked them, but I expect him to cook those teams. And then, he struggled when he got into conference play, and like that's something, and to close the season. So I will give him grace. I want to see what he does in summer league. I want to see. We're gonna watch. We're gonna follow along. We're gonna be here watching on playback, breaking down each game on the pod. But Lou, you had a question for Antonio, so we can get out of here.
Yeah. My question for Antonio is going to be related to what teammate do you think, or group of teammates, you can name more than one, benefited the most from Kasparas Jakucionis being on the roster?
From this
current Heat team.
Okay. So I don't know. Kalel is gonna benefit just because he can get him the ball. I don't think Duncan stays, so because all these empty corner stuff that he's gonna do, it will be great for Duncan to get some corner threes. I don't know if Duncan stays. I think it takes some of the pressure from Tyler having to initiate, and that is pretty good. And Jakucionis likes to play with other handlers, so he can get the ball to Tyler much better. I think those are the ones. I think he can take some of the initiating I would like to see with Jovic, but I don't know if the Heat were prepared to give him yet again that initiation show. So we'll see.
I like it. Micah Peavy was selected with the 10th pick and going to the Pelicans. The Suns are getting the 41st pick, and they're selecting Kobe Bree out of University of Kentucky. Very good shooter, sniper. They have so many shooting guards. It's ridiculous. And I think that's going to be it for today, man. Antonio, really appreciate you coming back, giving us more insight. Open invite. We're gonna be doing some of the summer league games, and would love to have you on playback. So to talk on it, if you want to join us after the games as well, no pressure. You can, if you can't understand. Even Moose doesn't join some of these. Love you, Moose. Miss you. Lou, where can the people find you?
Man, at Saucy Takes, no spaces, with the Z at the end of takes. Mostly on X. You can follow me on Blue Sky just in case. Elon, just he's a unique individual.
That's mildly.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as fucking controlled as I can here. But just follow me on there. I'm gonna be posting my yearly summer league guys thread. I don't know why I do this, but
the Undraftables.
The Undraftables for sure. That's a banger name. I might have to pay you for the copyright.
Go for it.
But no, yeah. Just on Twitter, already got some Kasparas stuff out too. You guys, everybody, please follow Antonio. Like, I cannot express how thankful, how much gratitude personally I have for him. He's helped me dig up film from guys that like they look like they were shot on a Nokia back in the day, but it works when and he's just been really helpful, very easy to talk to, super knowledgeable guy, and somebody I really value their opinion. Somebody asked in chat, how soon is the summer league? I think it starts July 9th, but I do think the Heat, they were not confirmed to go to the Sacramento one or the one in
Orlando.
In Cal, no, it's Cali, and it's Cali, Vegas, and Orlando, but they don't do Orlando anymore. They go to
that's right.
They go to
Vegas is July 10th to the 20th.
There you go, July 10th through the 20th, and then I do think the Sacramento or the California Classic, whatever they call it, is like the 6th through the 9th or 5 through the 9 or something around those lines. But if they do go, I hope they do. More Kasparas.
6th, 7th, and 10th.
There you go.
The Heat are playing this year, it looks like.
Perfect. Hansen Young was there last year.
I'm just making sure this isn't from last year. It doesn't say the year. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it says 6, 7, and 9th, and
I think that was last year because it was literally on my anniversary, and I got to see the Heat get absolutely.
oh
the
wait,
only,
no, yeah, this is it's 2024. Sorry,
only game they lost all year last
we
year in
go.
the summer league. It was the
Found
one
it.
I attended.
All right, California Classic, the 5th, the 6th, and the 8th. Salt Lake City is 5th, 7th, and 8th. Summer League Vegas 10th through the 20th. I will be missing some of these dates, so you guys hold it down.
Sure.
But thank you again, Lou. Thank you for hosting DraftBeat. This has been always fun with you. Real quick before I let it go to Antonio, waiting for this. I'm stalling here so I can read this here.
Finally.
God damn, Maxime Reynaud, DraftBeat favorite, I guess. It's a Sacramento Kings.
Just somebody we liked. Just
with the
somebody
12th
we
pick in
liked.
the second round. Yeah, we liked him. That's a good spot for him. Antonio, I have your @ here. Antonio Diaz _ at Pete _ PT. Excuse me. Antonio Diaz _ PT on Twitter. You're also on Blue Sky. Please, is there anywhere else people could follow you? Anything you want to plug? Anything you're working on? Any articles? Anything? Please plug away.
Yeah, Twitter is where you can find my work. I can right now the under 19 World Cup is about to start, so I'll be following that. I'll be writing about it. Then all the summer tournaments in Europe, because someone is gonna fall to the Heat in a few years. So you can check it before everyone else.
Exactly. If you guys
And thank you for the invitation as well.
Of course. And so if you want to get ahead of the prospects, be ahead of your friends, be a hipster with the draft picks. Show your friends. I was on this guy before you knew he existed.
Start Saturday, by the way.
Start Saturday. Antonio Diaz _ PT. Great follow, great guy. Great
Thank you.
basketball talk all the time. We'll help you answer every question I've ever asked him. Tremendous.
Literally.
I try to.
He's a great guy, and he's doing it in Portugal, so he's in another time zone for most of us. So
2:20 a.m. right now.
Yeah, look at this guy. We're gonna let this guy go to bed. We appreciate you guys, everybody in the chat, everybody listening, watching on YouTube, on Twitch, everywhere. Thank you guys for all the DraftBeat love and coverage. We will, if the Heat magically do anything tonight, we'll make a quick pod on it. But doesn't look like anything's happening right now. Of course, it's gonna happen as soon as we leave, but probably not. Hopefully not. Thank you guys. Love y'all. Stay safe.